Tash, you want to take it away?
Awesome. Great, guys. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining our Tuesday Thrive 45 session. So welcome you. We are so happy that you were able to join us. As we move on to the next slide, tonight what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at prioritization and planning skills. But before we dive straight into that, for all the new people on the call, just going to introduce ourselves quickly. My co-host tonight is Tracy Pinder, a neurodiversity coach, educator, and founder of the School of Life. Tracy is an ADHD expert. I met Tracy when I originally was looking for an ADHD coach, and that's when we started working together. So it's been such a privilege to have Tracy in my life these past few years. And I am an ADHDer myself and an agile coach and a neurodiversity advocate, who strongly believes in, sharing the skills and the knowledge that we have with everybody so that everybody can, lead fulfilled and productive lives. So we're here to help you to unlock your strengths and to thrive, but all on your own terms. And as we move on to the next slide, it's the first thing that we want to cover is the why. Like, why did we set up the neurodiverse life skills? And the reason is because there just isn't enough support out there with regards to ADHD and neurodiversity. So it's very misunderstood, which results in people feeling alone or unsupported. And we just wanted to provide the safe and empowering space for everybody so that we could all learn and connect together, because life is a journey and it's all about learning, and we learn from each other all the time. And we wanted to share some practical strategies that we know work, real solutions for real challenges, real solutions that you can implement in your life that would make a really big difference. And that's because you deserve to thrive and not just survive. So I'm going to hand over to Tracy, who's going to take us into the session this evening. The one thing that I did just want to say is that you're welcome to post questions in the chat, and we will come to the questions. We will have a session at the end. We'll have some space for some questions towards the end. But if you do have any questions along the way, please feel free to just post them in the chat, and I'll be monitoring the chat, and I can just bring them to Tracy's attention.
Cool. Thank you, Tash. Welcome, everybody. It's really good to be here again. And like Tash says, we try to change the way coaching is, because there's lots of people who need lots of support, and this is a huge, huge topic. And as we go, I realize I've been doing this for years and years and years. I worked very closely with the late Dr. Jiva, who was a specialist psychiatrist in ADHD. And I learned he was known as one of the best in the world, because of his knowledge, and he trained with Dr. Halliwell, who is the father of ADHD. And the more I realize I know I don't know, there's just so much to learn. So we really hope that as we go on this journey, we all learn and we all grow, and we can all do better, and we can all do more. So tonight's content is we're going to review last week's session. So I don't know who did homework for last week. Anybody? So I normally get no responses here. Anybody do any homework from last week?
I want to say yes, but I wasn't here, so sorry.
Yeah. So maybe what we can do is just recap on what the homework was for everybody who wasn't here.
I can't remember. Tash, can you?
We'll do double homework this week. Diane said that he didn't get the email with the homework, so apologies for that. We'll make sure that we sort that out this week.
I don't have it in front of me. Okay, so we can't even review that.
I'll bring it up.
Thank you. But next time we definitely need to, it's because of stuff I've actually practiced. So it's not that I need to do it more, but yeah. So then we're going to talk about prioritization and effective planning, and why it's essential to managing ADHD and executive function challenging. Then we're going to differentiate between urgent and important tasks. we're going to teach tools for prioritization, and then we have a simple weekly planner with short actionable goals, which Tash will actually load onto the website afterwards. Tash, is that correct?
That's right. So we'll load it and I'll email it to everybody as well, just so that everybody has it and along with the homework. So the homework from last week, all of us with ADHD and no long-term and no memory that
No
didn't pay
memory.
attention, was we were going to journal examples of ADHD symptoms.
Well, there we go.
We were
That
going to
says it
journal
all.
examples of ADHD symptoms impacting daily tasks. And we were going to write down the specific examples where they noticed ADHD symptoms affecting their daily routine or tasks, and then identify a situation where strengths were used effectively, and have them, and everybody could reflect on the time where their ADHD related strengths helped them to succeed and manage a challenging situation. And so I'll be sending that out just for everybody who does want to have a little bit of a look at that they are able to do that.
Cool. All right. Anybody did do homework? Nope. Okay, cool. All right. So let's get on to tonight's session. So why do we need to plan and prioritize? Why it's important? So it reduces overwhelm. So the ADHD brain can struggle with sorting through multiple tasks, leading to paralysis by analysis, or jumping between tasks without completing them. So we're good at starting them, but we get bored and then we don't finish it. And that's really a big problem. Or the task is so big, we become so overwhelmed, we actually just freeze. It can improve time awareness and task completion. So time blocking. So we're going to teach you some techniques tonight that covers all of this. So the time blocking technique and visual schedules, creating structure that help you stay on track. So I would never, ever be able to be as efficient as I am. And I am efficient because I've worked hard on myself without my diary. Everything I do is with my diary. And I run my diary with a pencil and a rubber because I don't like scratching out things. And that really helps me with the time blocking and keeping it in front of me. So I see it in front of me. It's not in my head. It's literally there. And I'm super efficient only because of this. Take away my glasses and my diary and I've got a problem. Okay, but it really helps with structure. And I structure everything in it. Okay, and it also enhances focus and reduces procrastination. So we thrive on external structure and the next clear steps. So remember, what we do is, as coaches, we build scaffolding. And the scaffolding is to support us, okay, with the executive function challenges we have. Okay, it also helps us break down tasks into smaller, more actionable steps, which increases motivation and makes it easier for us to start and finish tasks. Because motivation is difficult if it's internal. External is fine. So it also supports emotional regulation. Missed deadlines, forgotten tasks lead to stress and shame and embarrassment and anxiety. So planning ahead and using reminders helps us build confidence and helps us reduce last-minute panic. It also builds consistency and creates sustainable habits. So the habit is really important. And I don't know if you all know how we actually, there's 3 R's of habits. Okay, so it's a reminder, the routine, and the reward. So time blindness is a real thing for ADHD people. So I'm not sure how many of you know, but I'm sure you do know what time blindness is that we don't see time passing us. We have difficulty perceiving, estimating, and managing our time. It's just something that's very real with ADHD. And a lot of people say, well, you don't respect time. It's got nothing to do with that. It really doesn't. So we miss deadlines. So we don't always stay on schedule and we don't manage our days effectively because we don't see time passing us. So we can create habits which will help us with time blindness. So the one I've chosen to talk to you about is the time blindness habit. Okay, how to manage poor time awareness. So recognize, So identify the trigger for your time blindness. So what is a task where you lose track of time with, or where you miss deadlines, or you rush the last minute? So maybe some of you want to put in the chat, what is the trigger that makes you lose focus, or makes you lose track of time, or makes you lose time blindness with regards to deadlines, or you rush last minute? Do you know what the trigger is?
So I don't think I know what my trigger is, but I know that I do that a lot. And the other thing is I completely don't underestimate the amount of time that something will take. Everything's going to take me 5 minutes. Everything in the world takes 5 minutes, guys.
So the interesting thing is that we don't always know our time sense. So what I say to my clients is take a task and say, okay, tell me how long it's going to take you. It's going to take me an hour. Then I want you to time yourself and actually see, is it an hour? Or is it actually 2 hours? Or 30 minutes? Because our time sense can be wrong, and we've never ever looked at that and seen, okay, is the time sense right or not? So that's really helpful to start saying, okay, so I think it's going to take me 30 minutes. Then time yourself and see if your 30 minutes is actually 30 minutes, or if your 30 minutes is actually 45 minutes. Okay, because then you can get a reality check of how you need to adjust your time sense. So the second R is, okay, replace. Okay, so unstructured times, use external time management strategies, like, for example, use visual timers. So I've got clocks, literal clocks. So you can see time passing you by. Remember, we need it external. It can't be in our heads. It needs to be all in front of us. Okay, and alarms are a really good thing as well. And then time blocking is very helpful between tasks. You can do that and then reinforce a reward. So we celebrate small wins. And I always say 1% better every day in 365 days. You're going to be 7 times better than you are now. We build momentum. And you need to build momentum with small wins. So we think it's only a win if it's big. No, it's not. Start with the little things, and that builds up to be the big things. Okay. So acknowledge yourself when you stay on track and you've given yourself a break and you've been able to actually manage and finish the tasks that you set out to do.
Okay.
Very important.
So, Tracy, you've got some nice chat going on in the chat
Okay.
room. So, Ahmed was saying that, with your question that you asked, he finds that many tasks at hand, the student, overseas, coursework, cleaning, cooking, staying active, all of that can drown him. And he also agrees with underestimating the time for tasks. And Diane says, things and people around me. And Lizzie is saying, it's one thing that she's good at, is being early, or she just doesn't do anything at all.
So I've learned to plan for the unplanned. So I used to, and it's only through lots of experience of being so stressed out, where I would go from home to do sessions at Dr. Jeeva's, and I'd do 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or let's say 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, an hour each. And then I give myself half an hour to be back home to do again, back to back. And the stress I put myself under, because just now there's an accident or there's a robot that's down, then my whole lot of other clients, okay, are going to be, obviously upset. And I'm supposed to teach time management, and you can't do that. That's just wrong. Anyway, so I've learned to plan for the unplanned. It's the biggest thing I've ever done. It's amazing. Because now I used to see I have to be quick. I have to do things quickly. And I think as ADHD people want to do things quickly. Everything's quickly. And no, so I now listen to a podcast. I find value in the 30 minutes I might take. So from instead of being 12 to 12:30, I start sessions again at home. I now make it 1, but I find value in it, whereas before I didn't. And planning for the unplanned just puts you back in control of, there comes back to your self-regulation. Okay, you manage your stress, you're back in control, and you're okay because now you can be calm and continue with the sessions. Okay, so
And Siobhan says, but what happens when the ADHD person sleeps through their alarm?
yes, so there's many people that do that. Dr. Jeeva always used to say, because we had lots of clients, well, he had lots of patients who, and especially with the kids, they really struggle to get up in the morning. And he would often say to the parents and to the ADHD patient he says, so what he does, and I've actually done that when I've got a very busy day. So he says, you set the alarm for 5. Okay, the alarm goes off at 5. And next to the bed, I've got a 10 milligram, a short-acting Ritalin. Okay, alarm goes off. I pop it in my mouth with water. And then the alarm goes off at 5:45. I'm up and I'm ready to go. And that really helps me when I'm struggling with deadlines and huge projects and assignments and things like that. It helps some parents with their kids, getting their kids up, because it's a real thing. A lot of ADHD people are nocturnal. It's difficult to get up in the morning. So that's one way. I mean, there's many other ways you can do it, but that is one way. And it's one way I thought, oh, I don't want to use medication. But it's one way that really helps me to get up and get going without any effort. So maybe that's one way of answering it. There's lots of other ways of answering it too. Okay, so planning, prioritization supports emotional regulation. Missed deadlines and forgotten tasks, like I said, leads to that stress and shame and anxiety. So we need reminders, and the reminders are really helpful. If you sleep through your alarms, like you spoke about, then take the alarm and put it in the bathroom. So when that alarm goes off, okay, and make it loud, you have to get up and you have to walk to the bathroom. Okay, it's not next to you. You can just go snooze. And just by you getting up and walking, that can also help. I'm not saying it's going to solve it, but it's one way that can help you, because when you're up, you're up. Okay, build consistency and create sustainable habits. So often it makes it hard to stick to routines, but structured planning reinforces positive habits. Automating and scheduling tasks, okay, helps with the mental load of remembering everything. So putting everything down, okay, then ticking off, not scratching off. It's not scratching up, but ticking really does help. So remember, not one of these will fit everybody, because ADHD is unique in the sense of we might be all diagnosed with ADHD combined type or inattentive or hyperactive. But because of all the comorbidities, we're all very different. And then you've got to find out what works for you. Meet yourself where you're at. Don't meet yourself. Don't try and meet yourself where you're not at. Where are you? And then work with yourself and build yourself up from there. So this is quite a nice method when it comes to tasks. So for an example, urgent and important. Okay, so that would be your deadline crisis, urgent client issues, etc. So who can think of something that's urgent and important that they can actually make an action plan for? So urgent and important, for example, for a child could be a project that's due, but they forgot to start it. So it's urgent because the deadline is imminent. It's the next day. Important because it affects the child's grades and the teacher's responsibility. Okay, then you make an action plan. So you can break the tasks into small steps. I don't know if you've ever heard of body doubling, okay, which is really helpful for a lot of ADHD kids. And that is where you sit with them while they work to keep them on track. And I know that sounds like a lot of work, but just having, it's like our motivation, for example, for exercise. So I really don't enjoy it. But the only way I'm going to do it, I know I have to work with myself, is that I have a personal trainer who comes here, 7 a.m., Dean is here, and whether I like it or not, I have to get up and I start. And that's made a world of difference, because I don't want to let him down because of the people-pleasing nature that we do have. Okay. But it helps because now he's there and he's going to do it with me. So it can be in homework, it can be in exercise, it can be cooking. It's really, really an effective method for somebody with ADHD. Okay, so then the next one is important, but not urgent. So you schedule it. So what could be something that you need to schedule that's important, but not urgent? Give me an example. Do any of you have an example of something that's important, but not urgent? Urgent. Okay, so let's say creating a family routine. Okay, it's important because it helps with structure, it reduces chaos, it supports the child and the executive functioning. It's not urgent because there's no immediate deadline. Okay, but if you ignore it, daily life will stay disorganized and stressful. So that could be.
We've got some good comments in the chat.
Yes.
So vacuuming my apartment.
Oh, yes. There you go.
Yeah. Or making my doctor appointment for April.
Yes. Brilliant. Cool. Well done. Nice. Okay. Urgent, but not important. So you delegate. Tasks that need attention. A quick action, but don't require your direct involvement. Interruptions, meetings, routine tasks, others can handle. So what could be an example of urgent, but not important? What's urgent, but not important? Anybody there?
You don't have anything in the chat just yet, Tracy.
Okay. So what could be urgent but not important? So let's use the example of maybe take a lot package pickup. We all like take a lot, or Shein or Temu. It's urgent, okay, because you need to pick it up. Say take a lot, okay, but it's not important. If you fetch it another day, it's not important. And then
So in the chat we've got picking up after my dog.
Eventually it'll become very important. Okay. All
Can
right.
skip a day.
Yeah. Okay. Then we've got tools. So task capture, reduce mental clutter by writing things down. Okay. So who's ever done a brain dump? So I did a workshop recently at a corporate on brain dumping, clearing out your mental clutter, because we can ruminate, we keep so much in our minds and we worry. And remember, 95% of the things we worry about don't happen. But it's ruminating and we think and we think. I mean, they say we think about 60,000 thoughts a day. Of that, 90% is negative. And no, sorry, 80% is negative and 95% is repetitive. So it's the same things over and over. So what a brain dump does is you write down everything in your mind, your tasks, your worries, your ideas, your to-dos, and you don't filter it. Just put it all down on a piece of paper. Okay. Then you say to yourself, okay, you set a timer and you say, I've got 5 minutes and I need to look through this. And a lot of this can be unhelpful thinking habits, which at some stage on these Tuesdays, we're going to go into mindsets, and mindsets is part of unhelpful thinking habits. And you'll be able to identify, okay, so this brain dump I've done, how much of it is actually just unhelpful thinking habits. But you set a timer, you write everything down, and then you can sort and prioritize, okay, what needs to be done. But it's important to take it out your head and put it in front of you on paper, because then you can manage it. If it's not in front of you, it's very difficult to manage. So brain dumping, we'll do a session, Tash, I think, on brain dumping, because that's really, really helpful.
It's Such a fantastic tool. And I just love also when you brain dump and then the categories that you can kind of come up with, like you can see in the picture, because
Yes,
it really also helps you to just get everything out of the brain.
absolutely. Okay, then structuring tasks, you can use the next action will always define the next small step instead of vague task. Example, instead of writing a blog post, outline the blog structure. Then assign estimated time to each step, 5, 10, or 20-minute chunks. So a lot of the time I'll say, okay, so how long is it going to take you to do this task? An hour. But because you've only got 30 minutes, you're not even going to touch it. And I said, but you can do half the tasks. So it's also how you see time in your mind. That's very helpful. If you can say, well, I can do half the task then, which I never even thought about doing. It really is a better way of probably managing your time then. So time management, obviously, time block your day, use a Pomodoro technique, which we'll speak about now, 25 minutes work, 5 minutes break, then set visual timers to maintain focus. Clocks, put them all over. Alarm clocks, put a clock on your desk. Those old-fashioned ones, put it there. Then automation and reminders, build sustainable habits. So set up daily check-ins to review tasks, automate recurring tasks in your calendar. Accountability and adjustments, initially to build momentum. Okay, it's really helpful to have somebody be accountable. So you can have accountability partner or accountability coach. You can do daily or weekly reviews, and then you have a reward system. So small rewards for completing key tasks. And try not to make them food, because I did that and it's not always the greatest thing.
I was thinking the same thing, like when you make our rewards, it's like food, and that isn't always the greatest thing.
No,
But the man was
definitely.
saying that she uses a bullet journal, which is great.
Yes.
Bullet journals really, really rock. The thing I love about bullet journals is that they really work for our brains because, you kind of on the front page, you're writing down the pages where your thoughts continue. And you've got spaces to brain dump, and you've got spaces to doodle, and you've got spaces you can just create it to be anything that you want it to be, which is so fun.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. The bullet journal
yeah.
definitely does work. Then time blocking, this just like a template. So where you can actually block your time out. And you can put, it says here, blue, you can color code because we love colors, even like on our to-do lists. So when we do to-do lists, I always say it's so overwhelming for some people because there's so many things. So I said, just put it with colors. So 30 minutes is blue, 1 hour is pink, 2 hours can be green, and half a day can be purple. And then when you do your to-do list, you write it all down and you just put a color next to it. So when you look at it, you can actually see, okay, so this is going to take me 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. And it's so much easier to manage it. It's not so overwhelming.
The
Okay,
other thing I
then,
do, Tracy, as well, is I use colors for different types of things. So if it's to do with the kids, it's a certain color. And if it's to do with work, and then if it's something that I need to prepare for, I make it a different color so that when I'm scanning my calendar, I can see, oh, that's an activity that I actually need to do prep work. I need to create a presentation, or I need whatever it is that I need to do. And I have to say that that really, really helps me as well, just to very quickly be able to visually look at the calendar and just see what type of activities I have on.
absolutely. Now, we love color. We love highlighters too. And any ADHD woman generally loves stationery. We have a fetish for stationery. Okay, so this is the 1-3-5 rule. So it's one big task, most important, 3 medium tasks, important but not urgent, and 5 small tasks, quick to-dos. So write a presentation for a neurodiversity workshop, the big task. Medium task, respond to emails, schedule, call client calls, and research ADHD tools. And the 5 small ones, check calendar, update Notion, send invoices, drink water, stretch. So you can break them down into 1-3-5. Okay, that's one strategy. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you know about the Pomodoro technique. So you break the tasks that seem overwhelming, and if they're complex or big tasks, you can then do it into manageable sessions. 25 minutes and then 5-minute break. And you repeat that 4 times, then take a longer break. But you use a timer. Okay, so you're aware of the time and you see time ticking by. Okay, there's an ABCDE method. So prioritizing tasks based on consequences. A, I must do. It's a high priority and there are serious consequences. B, you should do. It's important but not urgent. C, it's nice to do. It's low priority but no consequences. D is delegate, someone else to handle it. E is eliminate, not necessary. It's a time waster. So an example, prepare a presentation for corporate neurodiversity training, research new coaching tools, organize workspace, ask assistant to schedule meetings, reduce time on social media. Okay, and social media and it's like we really get distracted by that. So there's the ABCDE method. There's the eat the frog method. So this method is we identify the most important task of the day, the one you're likely to procrastinate on. So if it doesn't keep your interest, okay, procrastination's real. It's a real thing with us. And this helps beat procrastination. So you identify your biggest, most important task. Then do it first thing in the morning before distractions set in, or do it when you feel you're more energized. So some people feel more energized in the evening. I get up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I'll do it in the morning because that's when I'm feeling more energized and I can get something done. But know yourself and know, okay, when I'm the most energized, and then do it then. And then don't stop until you've eaten the frog. So you make a rule for yourself because we don't like other people making rules for us. Make a rule for yourself that I will not move my desk. I will not open an email. I will not look at my phone. Okay. I will not leave this desk until I've eaten my frog. Okay. When my frog is eaten, then I can go make some coffee and I can go and do what I have to. But I have to eat my frog first. And that really helps because I don't like rules people put on me, but I'm quite happy to go with my own rules. Then there's the Ivy technique, the night before prioritization. So end the day with a clear plan for tomorrow. Write down 6 most important tasks, arrange the tasks from most to the least important. Start working down your list in the order, and then move any unfinished tasks to tomorrow's list. So remember, these are just ideas. Some are going to work for you, some aren't going to work for you. Okay. Then we've got the weekly planning template that Tash, you're going to put on the website? So that,
and I'll email it out to everybody who's on the call as well.
Okay, cool. So there's a template that you can actually plan your week. Okay. And that's really important because having the backbone, having the structure, you know exactly what you're doing. Okay. And you're ticking it off. It just builds a momentum for you to do more. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to waste a lot of time. And then you're not going to feel great about yourself either because you should have, could have, would have, and you didn't. So get into the habit, and this is a habit, writing everything down with time on a timeline. This is going to take me 15 minutes. This is going to take me 30 minutes. It makes it so much easier to manage your time. Okay, so the takeaways for tonight. It's important to break tasks into smaller, more actionable steps and prioritize using the tools that we've mentioned tonight. And your homework is to implement a weekly planning system. And then we're going to reflect on the effectiveness of the system next week.
And I'll send out the homework to everyone so that everyone has it, so that we can all prep. I'll even send you guys a reminder. How's that?
And remember, consistency is key. You create certainty within yourself. Okay, you feel better and more in control and are able to do more. And it's all about doing more and being better, and we all can be. Questions?
So we don't have any questions on the chat, but did anybody want to just call out your question?
Yes, please. I have a quick question regarding brain dump. I attempted this literally a couple days ago, and it's like I blanked out. It's one characteristic of kind of like the impulse and remembering things that cause you to procrastinate, or you remember them in the wrong time. But when you're trying to kind of remember everything, it's like you just blank out.
So is it like a performance anxiety? When you put in a spot? Could it be that? Okay.
I don't know. No, like I think honestly, like I thought of an answer myself. Um, could be potentially creating the space for the brain dump, carrying it with you, and then designing it in a way where that impulse or thing you remember comes. You know, you drop everything, stop, unless if you're driving, and just write it down. You know, if these kind of impulses want to come in whenever they want, just be ready for them, kind of thing.
Absolutely. So it's like creating a worry list as well, as in we worry about so much. And like I said, 95% of the things we worry about don't happen. So the brain dump is also, it's exactly the same. You could use, remember, I said, meet yourself where you're at. If you know you like this and sitting down, it's not going to work for you, then don't use that method. What method? Exactly. You know the answer. Okay. You know, maybe having a little note and every time, okay, I need to just send myself a voice note. Okay, add this, add this, add that. Okay, works for you. Then use that. Customize it to suit what works for you. You're unique. Nobody thinks like you do. So meet yourself where you're at. The biggest problem is when we don't meet ourselves where we're at. We try and be like, I'm telling you, this is what a possibility you could use. It's not going to work for you, then don't use it. Create what works for you.
My WhatsApp chat with myself is my busiest chat that I have on WhatsApp.
Me
And
too.
it's exactly that. It's like all of the things that we just remember and we think and we do. And, you know, and then the challenge is to take that and transcribe it somewhere where it's usable and functional, because otherwise it just sits in this ever long list that just grows.
It's so important you meet yourself where you're at. Okay, really, really important because otherwise you're never going to be able to build because you're critical, you're overthinking, you're ruminating, okay, you're beating yourself up. Okay, your brain's different. Your brain's unique. Okay, and absolutely embrace that and say, okay, so what works for me? And then whatever works for you, use it. You don't have to fit in. Nobody has to fit in. Remember that. Your authentic self is that your authentic self is this is who you are, and this is how your brain works, and this is what works for me, and that's awesome. And that's all that you want is find ways that work for you. Okay, does that help you? Cool, great. Anybody else?
The mayor was saying that she struggles with starting things.
Yeah.
She knows what to do, knows what she needs to do, but she procrastinates and doom scrolls.
So I play games with myself. Okay, and I know the things I don't like doing. So I put my timer on and I say, okay, 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, what can I do, Tracy? And I know I've got to empty the dishwasher and I've got to do this. And then I do it and I say, okay, let's see if you can beat your time. And I know I'm 57 and I still play games with myself, but they work. They really work. And then I put the timer on. I say, okay, let's see what you can do in 5 minutes. I rush into the kitchen and I grab my cereal and I grab my tea and I unpack the dishwasher. 3:47 and I'm back. I beat my time from the day before. And it feels so cool. Because remember, you're your own biggest competition. Nobody else is your competition. You're your own biggest competition. And that's important.
Yeah. Ross was saying that the go-to list and working through the list from one week to the next and then moving uncompleted tasks to the next week. And sometimes they roll over week by week by week. And I think that's something that we can all relate to, right?
But then
But I think that those tools that you've shared, Tracy, I think are also great, you know, for choosing one and maybe trialing one week and trialing another one the next week and seeing which ones really resonate.
Absolutely. So there's some say not one tool works for everybody. You need to meet yourself where you're at. What works for you? You know yourself best. Okay. And if you don't, you're going to learn to know yourself best. And I know somebody telling me what to do is just going to switch me off. I need to make my own rules. Okay, and I make my own rules and I like my own rules. Okay, but my own rules is to be better and to do more. And it's to stretch myself even when I'm uncomfortable. So create your own rules. You can. You're in control of that.
Cool, everyone. So thank you so much, everyone. You've been such an engaged group, and we've just so enjoyed spending the time that we have with you. It's just been great. And we do this every Tuesday. It's called Thrive Tuesday. It's 45 minutes. Thrive 45 minutes to learn a new strategy or learn something new. And we have a couple of upcoming events which we wanted to share with you. So next Tuesdays, and the sessions are all free. This is all about just providing skills to and helping everybody in our community. And so next week's session is about time management and overcoming procrastination. Yeah, maybe that one's one for you, hey? I know it's going to be one for me.
All of us.
Tracy used to laugh at me because I used to sit there and I'd get all edgy. And she's like, why are you so edgy? And I'm like, because I know the presentation is like 20 pages and we're 3/4 of the way through the time and we've only done like 3 of the slides and I'm just starting to freak out. And so like Tracy's fascinated, like all our brains, they all work so differently. It's just so fun. And then, yeah, we were also really excited about our first workshop, in-person workshop that we're going to have of the year, which is on the 15th of March, which is about parenting neurodiverse or ADHD teens. So if you'd like details on that, just reach out to us. We'll send you the details on that. And guys, if you enjoyed the session tonight, please share the info with other people, just so that we can, the sessions are free, and just that we can reach as many people as possible, just to share these amazing tools and tips that we have.
It was good to have you all on the call. Thank you for joining us, and we really look forward to having you next week. Anas, it was good to see you.
Likewise, looking good.
Are you still in Canada?
I am.
Ah, there we go. Good to see you. He was one of Dr. Jiva's patients, if he doesn't mind me sharing, hey?
No, of course.
Yeah, special.
Wonderful.
Special.
Wonderful.
Hey, it's good to see you again.
Lovely.
Nice to see you all, and look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a brilliant week and do your homework, not like today.
We'll procrastinate on it. Yes. We're going to use one of the tools to make sure that we we do the homework. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you on Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
Thank you guys. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.